Otaku, my stream, here with our guest, Larry Williams, the owner of the YouTube channel
Otaku Assemble!
Otaku Assemble.
Oh man,
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 yeah,
I've been watching Larry's channel for a minute, man. Going back some years. I'm so happy that he's on today. Um, so many things I want to say about Larry because I know he's been reviewing a lot of. I found him through actually Naruto reviews back in the day, but he does so much more than that. He does Game of Thrones reviews. He does movie reviews. He does. Um, shoot, I think I missed some TV reviews. Just
A
all.
lot of TV
Yeah,
reviews.
a lot of that. So I just want to say right now, dang, did I forget the audio track? Oh well, we're gonna give it up for Larry Williams for being on the show today.
uh, thanks, thanks a
Okay.
lot, guys. I appreciate you all having me.
Now, what I want to hear from you actually is, can you, I guess, can you tell us a little bit, or tell the audience more or less, the people who aren't familiar, a little bit, about you as far as what you do on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, my name's Larry Williams, and I am the host of Otaku Assemble, or OAW for short. And it is a YouTube channel dedicated primarily to reviews. I'm a film critic, television critic, so you'll see a lot of material such as movie reviews, television reviews. This channel started out as an anime and manga review channel, and while I haven't been doing those as frequently or recently in the last few years, I do still have like anime and manga related material on my channel. Things like my anime favorite segment, where I'll go back and talk about some of my favorite anime series, favorite hero, favorite villains, where I'll talk about some of my characters from these series, and things of that nature. So yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
much.
Okay. Yeah.
correct. What
One
is
thing I
the
have. Oh, go ahead.
yeah? What I was wondering, what does this W stand for in OAW?
Weekly.
Weekly.
I knew it because I remember saying it was like he always says Otaku Assemble and then he says weekly. So I'm like,
Okay.
I told you I was like I'm pretty sure that's what it is because I always hear it in there. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
just curious.
When I first started my channel back in 2000, man, what was it? 2010? Yeah, back in 2010. So what happened was the way I used to do my channel was I would do like three segments, right? And so me back then I was doing it with a crew. It was me, a couple of friends of mine, and what we would do is we would record all of our segments on the same day, right? So at the same time, we do one segment, two segment, three segments, and it was always the manga reviews of the series we were doing, the anime reviews for the series we were doing, and then we would do a rant segment. But the videos would only be on a weekly basis, so we were only doing like three videos, and so you would only get three videos a week. So the name of the show, while the channel was called Otaku Assemble, the name of the show would be called Otaku Assemble Weekly, and
Okay.
it just stuck.
I don't. You know what? This must have been super early in the channel, like super early, because I don't remember there ever being anybody else like from when I was looking, on the channel or when I used to watch your videos, like back in the day.
Oh, just me?
Yeah, I just remember watching you. I don't remember like anybody in particular.
So yeah, so then you would have like discovered the channel like in 2011, because by then, like I think it was March of 2011 was when I started doing the channel solo.
Okay, yeah. I'm like I had to because I'm like wait who else? Only
But for like the first 8 months of the channel, it was me and a few other guys.
so what would you say is probably one of your proudest accomplishments when it comes to your channel?
Um, Proudest accomplishment. I'll be honest. I think my proudest accomplishment might just be my fan base. The community that my channel has. I call them the Otaku Faithful. I think I've had thousands of subscribers. The channel has over, I think, like 7.5 million views by now, and I do appreciate all the views I get, for my videos and comments and stuff like that. But like the the community that's developed around my channel in the since I started it, like I got some really some really good followers, some really good people. Some of them, I've developed friendships with and whatnot that I met online. A few of them I've actually met in person. Uh, I got a good group of followers, and I really appreciate that. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, I definitely think that is something to be proud of. Well, not even think, I know it's something to be proud of. I'm like
Oh
guessing when
yes.
you probably gone to conventions, that's probably when you have encountered some people.
A few. One I do remember one in particular where like he saw my table when I did New Orleans Comic Con back in November of 2012. Like he saw my table and he was like, "Oh snap, I know this guy," and I'm like, "Huh?" And then we struck up a conversation, and that's when I was like, "Oh, like before, like when I saw him, he was like, 'Yeah, I know this guy,' and I went, 'Huh?" And then I looked and I saw he was wearing a Game of Thrones T-shirt. So then it immediately dawned on me. I'm like, "Oh, he must be one of my viewers," and then we started talking and whatnot. But yeah, that was really cool. And then just like at the time when I started my channel, I was still in school. I was still attending UL Lafayette, and I think like 2011, that second year on YouTube was when people on campus would recognize me and they'd
Mm-hmm.
walk up to me and strike up a conversation. So like that too. Like I've met quite a few people on campus too.
Oh man, so you got that status. See, I never had that kind of stat. I mean, I've had it where I've met some people like from time to time, but usually it had to be where I'm at a convention, like, and
Hmm.
maybe I meet somebody. But and I know
Mm.
the Elite Ace, he's had it a bit more than me. I mean, he's I think there was a guy that didn't he say at his job in that
Yep.
yeah, where the guy who does like the shipping or something like that. He knows him. He watches videos. His kids watch the videos or whatnot. So yeah, I know. I got to clap it up to again, back to your accomplishment. But more importantly, it actually made me consider something else. When you when you started doing totems,
Hmm.
what how would I put it? What would be the avenue you would actually suggest for up and coming writers to take? Because I don't think a lot of people knew that you
Hmm.
actually have done totems. Because actually, Chief N right here, he didn't know, and I was telling him like, yeah, he was looking at your channel, but I guess he wasn't familiar with the fact that you did, you've done your own comic and you're a writer, trying to do film scripts, all of that.
Yeah, I
Well,
because I checked all your social media sites and I didn't see anything on totals, and I didn't know about it until Irvin brought it to my attention.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't since Totems is an old project. I haven't really shared a lot on that in a while. I do know though, like if you visit the OAW Comics Facebook page, you'll see a bunch of stuff about it on there.
Mhm.
And whenever I Google my name, that's when I'll see like all the Totem stuff popping up. Amazon reviews,
oh
good
yeah, I've seen
reviews,
that.
things like that. Um, Now to answer your question, Irvin, you mean in terms of like what's
What
a
do you
good?
believe is the first steps? Like, how would you say that somebody who's trying to, for example, learn, by somebody, like you, who's, got out there, they printed their stuff, they've, written a work, people have reviewed it. What do you think they should do to start, like
Um,
writing, if they're looking to write something?
Write it. That's where you start. Write it. It's a lot. The thing is, it's a lot easier to get people involved and get people excited about what you're doing if you have a product to show them. So anybody, if you're an amateur writer, amateur artist, anything like that, and you're looking to get started, making your own material, whether it be books, animations, videos, same thing for videographers, other YouTubers, things of that nature. Make the product first. I think that's the biggest thing. It's a lot easier to be able to get in a conversation with somebody and tell them what it is you're doing when you can show it to them right there in front of them.
Okay. Actually, I'm curious between, like, I know Yugo, didn't Yugo, yeah, edit your edit totems?
Yes,
Okay.
Hugo was the story editor for that.
Okay, like now I'm curious, how do you and Yugo actually
Oh.
connect? And for those of you who don't know, Yugo is another YouTuber.
Hugo Strange,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yugo Strange. So
So yeah, so the funny thing, me and Hugo met. We met online, and dude, and it was funny. This was the fall of 2010, right? Fall of 2010.
Okay.
Uh, and I had just finished like the first season of OAW because that was the other thing too. When we first started the channel, like we were doing it in seasons. So like we started July of 2010, and then we ended like December. So I was like, all right, that's season one. And and then when we started back in January of 11, I'm like, all right, that's season two. Well, Hugo contacted me and he made me an intro video, like an opening cinematic for my videos. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I checked out your videos, checked out your channel. I saw your opening, thought you might, thought you could use a new one. Here you go." So I went, "Oh man, this is perfect," because I was like, I could use this for season two, because at the time we were hitting up Facebook, hitting up Twitter, telling people like, "Yo, season two coming," because we took like a month off, I think, or like 6 weeks or something like that off, because it was the Christmas break and we were all in school. So it was like, okay, yeah, while we're on break, we're not going to worry about videos. When school starts up again, like first, second week of the new semester, we'll start up season two. So we talking about it. And then I get this video and I'm like, oh man, this is really cool. All right, cool. So then I was like, well, man, let me contact the dude who made this, thank him and whatnot. I had to make sure I got his name and everything because I also made some ending credits because I had a new intro video and then somebody made us a theme song,
Oh dang.
like a
Oh
rap.
man.
They made us a rap. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'm gonna play this rap during the
So
ending
is all
credits.
this still up?
No, it's not up. It's the old group vids. When I got partnered, I took those down for
Oh
copyright
yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
Okay.
I know. I didn't. Copyright strike.
Well, yeah, because the opening cinematic had a lot of clips from animes and stuff like that. So for copyright purposes, I went ahead and I pulled those vids. But I think there's only a handful of them that actually have the like Yugo's original opening, and then that rap song for the end credits, right? But when I contacted Yugo about thanks for the intro vid, me and him just hit it off. We just started talking about stuff. I checked out his channel, started following his blog and whatnot. And I mean, dude, like me and Hugo were only talking for like 2-3 months before I pretty much got him in contact with Strapped Up 24. Shout out to him, J Mason 105, and then Uncle Maine. And then we started Rogues Gallery Incorporated, which was our collab channel on YouTube back then. So actually, yeah, it was less than 3 months because me and Hugo met like December of 10. We started up Rogues Gallery February of 11. So yeah, and then we started up our collab channel and we were collaborating on a bunch of projects, and then we've been boys since. So but to wrap up your question, how Hugo got involved with Totems was that, Hugo's a writer. Hugo's a writer. He studied film. He's gone to film school, stuff like that. And so fast forward to, what was it? I want to say it was about, January of 12. So fast forward like a year when I'm finally getting to the point where I'm writing the first issue for Totems. Like I had been developing Totems since like June of 11, right? So like for 6-7 months, I was just, developing it and whatnot. But when it got time to start writing the script itself, I was like, well, it's like, I really want, a second opinion on this. I really think it would behoove me to have a story editor, especially since I was taking, that's when I started taking writing courses in college. So, we had did the whole peer review thing and writing workshops and stuff like that. It's like, what I need, I do need that constructive criticism. I do need that constructive feedback, but I also need it from a knowledgeable source. That's the thing. And I'm like,
You don't want just coming from mom or dad or whatever.
right, exactly. And let me preface this by saying it's like, it's not necessarily a bad thing to go ahead and get, feedback from friends and family and things of that nature. But the thing is, I always find that the closer the person is to you, the more invested they are in your success. And so they might not give you that stone cold, harsh criticism that you might need to hear about your work. Mm-hmm. Now, like I said, me and Yugo are cool and whatnot, but Yugo's never held his tongue with me the whole time I've known him. Never held his tongue with me. So much so that the project I'm working on currently, Yugo told me straight up, because he's my story editor on that project as well. He told me straight up, he don't like it. Like if this was a product coming from somebody else, like he wouldn't even bother with it because it's not his cup of tea. It's not the type of material that he likes. Mm-hmm. But he's still going. But he's like, yeah, but I'll help you with the story. He knows a good story when he sees one. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So back then I was like, you know what? I got to hit up my man Yugo because he's the one person I think would give me the type of feedback I'm looking for. And dude, Totems went through issue one. Issue one went through a couple of revisements. There was actually a good little chunk of it that got cut out. And because back then I used to write all my scripts out on loose leaf on paper, and then I would go ahead and type it up. And the way I would do it is I just write the whole issue out like I want to do it on loose leaf. Then by the time I get ready to type it up, that's when I'm revising it, right? Mm-hmm. Well, when I did my Kickstarter for Totems back in the summer of 2012, one of the pledge rewards was you would get the original handwritten script. Mm-hmm. 2 people pledged the highest to get those rewards. So one person got the handwritten issue 1 script, the other person got the handwritten issue 2 script. And I contacted that person. I told him straight out, I say, yeah, that issue 1 script you get, there's going to be a good little chunk that's not in that final comic. The issue 2 script, however, half of that script isn't even in the book. like when I was writing issue 2, I finished the whole thing and then cut half of it out and rewrote it. So those handwritten scripts got some material on them.
That's gonna stay between you and them, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, so can you actually because I'm sure there's some people out there aren't familiar with it. Can you actually give a rundown of a quick synopsis of what the I guess the story of Totems? I was gonna say the first issue, but that might be spoilerish. So I guess more of like what the story is supposed to be about.
Okay, so Totems was a planned 12-issue miniseries that was supposed to tell the story of a group of kids that received supernatural powers from these guardian animal spirits. So the type of material that inspired the story, we're talking Native American mythology, animalism, shamanism, all those sort of things. And so the story was supposed to follow this group of teens as they discover their powers, as they discover these spirits, as they form bonds and relationships with those spirits. And in the process, they do run into some conflict because there is a group of individuals like them who are opposing them for their own various reasons. And the whole story is supposed to be a coming of age story. So just like how the kids are learning about their powers and learning about these spirits, they're learning about themselves, each individually, as well as their interpersonal relationships with each other. So that was as brief a rundown as I could give.
Okay. Now, because the Kickstarter is gone, because I know I myself will try to look for it. Is there a place where somebody can actually pick this up if they want to pick it up right now and buy it? Is it on Amazon?
Unfortunately, Totems issue 1 is out of print. The reason for that is, number one, in terms of physical copies, I sold out every copy I had. And I never reordered. The second reason, in terms for the digital sales, was that the company that I did my digital distribution with, they folded. So the book was available. It was available on Amazon. It was available.
Like when you bring it back.
Oh well, yeah. Like because currently my plan is I'm going to go ahead and sort of revamp Totems. Make it shorter series. And I mean, I feel a lot more confident in my writing now, several years later, where I think I could actually, I think I could tell a much, not too much different story, but more in depth, and a more streamlined story. Because issue one, as much as I loved it, and as much as the reception for it, a lot of people really, really liked it. It was all set up. It was all set up, and it started out really slow. Now I think I'm competent and confident enough as a writer to where it's like, yeah, I can do the setup, but I can get that ball rolling real quick. I can get that reader invested real quick. So I'm gonna be revamping the series. That's the very next project I'm going to tackle as soon as I get done with this one. But going back to the whole thing that happened with the distribution thing, yeah, like once that the digital company I was using, they were in direct competition with Comixology, and I opted out for them over Comixology because Comixology, for anybody who's
Everybody's
ever
on there.
anybody who's but if you use it, you can only use it through Comixology, meaning whatever device you're using, you still have to use Comixology's app. You have to use their website in order to read your stuff, right?
Right.
Or did they change it?
I'm not familiar because I don't use it really that often. Usually, I go and pick up my stuff. I'm not really, big on reading them digitally unless, I can get them some other way. But I usually go just pick up my stuff straight from the store.
Yeah. So the company I was using, they were in direct competition with Comixology, right? But I opted out for them because they actually put your book in the storefronts for the devices and for the companies themselves. So it's like so if you bought Totems digital, it wasn't just like, no, you have to use our website. The company was called Graphically, and it was like, no, you don't just have to use Graphically. Like, if you want to get it for your Kindle, just go straight to Amazon, and guess what? It's in Amazon store. You want to get it for your iPad, just go straight to the iBooks, and it's in their store. You want to get it for what was it, Kobo? I think was one company. What was another company? Another format, because it was on like 6 different formats. And that's why I really like that company, because it's like you do one submission and then it goes out to like 6 different formats, and I really dug that.
That sounds better than like Kablam or a lot of these printing websites. Because I know that's one that we were thinking about going with and more recently, because there's a local one we use right now. But
yeah, and then even with my printed copies, like that company's not the company that I got the first print run with. They're not in business anymore. They folded.
Hey.
So yeah.
They just taking out everybody.
The industry is a beast, man. It's a beast.
Yes, it is.
And I know one of our mentor actually be talking about that all the time. He be talking about people getting done in, talking about these stores going way back, talking about, man, back in the day, Diamond wasn't the the main distribution network.
Yeah, they weren't. Dude, I have a PDF. It's this old book. I forget the guy's. Oh no, Staples. What is his first name? I forget his first name. But I found out, dude, and it was so funny. I found his PDF online around the time when I was getting ready to self-publish Totems, because it's a really good like rundown on like the industry, and like if you're trying to do it from a self-publishing standpoint and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it's dated. Like this PDF is like from 2005, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at the time it was like 2012, so it was like 7 years old, right? Mm-hmm. But then I found out, dude, the guy who wrote that is the guy who started up digital webbing.
Whoa,
which
really?
is one of the main websites I use for talent search to find artists and colorists and stuff like that. Yeah, he's one of the founders of that website. I went, oh snap!
For real?
Yeah, dude, it was funny, dude. Like it didn't even dawn on me. I was like, oh snap, that's the dude. But even in his book, he was talking about how it wasn't too long ago. So this is 2005. He's writing this, right? Mm-hmm. He said it wasn't too long ago that Diamond wasn't the only company in town. There were so many other printers, right? Now Diamond is it. If you're
trying to
get your stuff out everywhere, yeah, you gotta go to
and look, it's not just US, all of North America.
Yeah,
it's Diamond. So Canada, Mexico, it's Diamond. They're the top. But and then even that book breaks down like, okay, if you're gonna try, like, let's say you don't go with an established publisher and you just want to do Diamond yourself, it gives you the figures, man. It gives you the numbers,
Wait,
and
hold
it's
on.
like,
Where's
okay,
this PDF again?
I found it online, but if you want, I can shoot you a copy of
Yeah,
it,
yes. Shoot me a
cause
copy. I want to. I definitely want to take a look at it. Actually,
cause
I mean,
I
you
should.
don't have to do it right now if you don't. If you don't want to. But I mean, yeah, you can do it. After this, yes. Shoot me a copy. I want to see it.
Okay, cool deal. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think the financial aspects of comic book self-publishing. That's the name of it.
Huh.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look through that.
And yeah, and this is. Oh wait, is this the same one? Okay, no, this is a different one. This one is by a guy, Chris Harden.
Chris Harden.
And this dude, this is crazy. This was actually, I didn't even notice this. Was this a term paper? Because this is from the University of South Florida, April 26, 2005. So yeah, this was like a term paper. Or this might have been a thesis. This might have been a thesis because this is a real in-depth.
Yeah, I just found it
Uh,
right now. I just googled it. Let's see it.
okay, so the other one I'm talking about, then that must be a different book. I got it confused. All right, hang on.
Okay. Okay, I'm pulling up the link now.
This would have been the moment we played the Jeopardy music. Do 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 do. Say no. It's funny because
Oh
sometimes we
well.
actually have done that on here, Larry.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it. Not just be saying it, but like, yeah, we've actually just.
Yeah, I gotta find. Hang on, it might be in my books because I know I got a book on self-publishing. Another one. I gotta go through my files and find it. But yeah, but that one, the one that Chris Harden did, dude. Like oh man,
It's a lot of good
I,
information in there. I can tell already.
dude, I remember the afternoon, like the days, like spending all day just like studying that shit, dude. It was intense,
How
man.
would you even come across this? Like, you just Googled it, or like?
Yeah, I just researched it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Matter of fact, dude, now that I bring that up, there's another book that I'm in the process of getting right now. It's what was the name of it? It's like the comic book law book. It's pretty much a book on like comic book law, meaning
The rules you shouldn't break when writing comics.
well, no, not it's no, it's a business book. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
talking about like the publishing aspect, contracts, copyright, all that, like all the legality, and all the legal roadblocks you can run into when you're self-publishing. That's what
Mm-hmm.
it talks about. So I'm in the process of getting that book right now, but I'm getting a hard copy of that.
What's the name of that one again?
I forget the name of it. I got it. I don't have my reading list on me, but I put it on my reading list because I got a bunch of books I'm getting ready to buy, and it's one of the books on that list.
Okay, yeah. As soon as you
When,
can, send me the
yeah,
name
I'm,
of it.
I'm, I'm gonna shoot you that on Facebook.
Yeah, because I'm like that one definitely. I think anybody could use that one. If you're in the industry, especially unless you're already like working for like a major person. Offhand, do you I'm trying to think of like you ever heard of Anthony Piper,
That name sounds familiar.
like the Trill League? You know what Trill League?
True League?
Trill League, Trill.
Mm-mm.
Okay, never mind then. I was just going. I'm like, because I mean, the only reason why I mentioned this because I know people were talking about how, or actually, he put up on Facebook about how he actually just had a meeting like series, like animation on Adult Swim. I
Oh,
thought that was
cool.
pretty interesting, especially considering the fact that he's start off independent, and was also a comic book creator of color. So I don't know. I thought it would have
Mhm.
been something interesting to talk about. But what else was I gonna say to you?
Just for everybody in the audience possibly watching right now, I'm about to go ahead and paste that link that we were just discussing in the chat area.
Oh, okay. Where is it?
Yeah, like that. I mean that like the PDF. I mean, it has a lot of good information. Granted, it is dated because the one thing about the PDF that I was like, man, I really wish it had more information on this because I think it's mentioned in the PDF, but they don't really talk about it in detail because this is 2005. This was before it happened. Digital comics, digital publishing.
Oh yeah, that.
It's I think it's briefly mentioned towards the end of that PDF, but there's
No sign of it.
practically no information on it, and that's because this was right before digital publishing became a thing. Because if you go back to that
That started
PDF,
coming up around like what, like '09, I think.
mm-hmm,
Like
oh
it
08,
was,
oh 09,
yeah. Because I remember I
but like
did a whole study on that.
if you do if you look through that PDF and you look at like when it starts crunching the numbers and it's talking about the figures for print runs and things of that nature, I really wish there was something on digital publishing because digital publishing, dude, that's a whole.
Hmm.
It's such a it's still to this day I think still such a new phenomenon, and it's such a useful tool because it's like digital publishing, dude, is so cheap, so cheap.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
because you can put your stuff up literally in a sense for free. At least if you want to, and if you want to
right, but
sell it,
even
you can. You don't have
but
to.
yeah, but like, dude, like here's the thing. Like, I mean, even in terms of like even if you're paying for digital publishing, like what I did with Totems, um, my first check that I got for the digital sales for Totems already knocked out what it cost for me to do it in the first place. So, that first check, I saw instant profit. And that's because it didn't really cost me an arm and a leg in order to put it up onto those digital formats in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like even if you pay for it, it's still for what you would sell your product for, like it's the numbers are still working in your favor. And yeah, there are a lot of creators, they'll either do the free thing where they'll offer it as a web comic or they'll offer it on their website or on their Facebook page or something like that. And then you got the ones who they'll go ahead and they'll hit up Comixology and this, that, and the other. Now I will say this, Comixology, the last time I heard about like digital digital publishing through Comixology, because I remember after I had did Totems was when Comixology changed their publishing platform to reflect more of what I had hoped they would do back then.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was looking at Comixology, like you had to pay them up front, and then of course you pay them up front. They go ahead, they put your book out, and then of course you just gotta hopefully you sell enough to where you can recoup what you paid them up front, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that was the same sort of model I had with graphically. It's just that graphically the cost was better and it did pay off for me, which was really cool. But now, like I think it was, dude, this was like a year after, right? This was like 2013, I think, was when Comixology put this into play. They started doing it where it's like it costs you nothing to submit, and they just take a percentage of each sale until you reach a certain amount. I'm like, man, I wish they were doing that from the get-go. But then again, by this time, they were the only game in town
Yeah,
in
so
terms of.
they could change the game how they want it to be played and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They were the only game in town by then. So I mean, it worked out to their benefit. But yeah, but even if the information is a little bit dated, that PDF is still a really good resource, if nothing else. The way in which it breaks down those figures for you, in terms of like publishing, marketing, distribution, stuff like that, to use as a model, I think it is still very relevant.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to really. I'm glad you even mentioned this because like I didn't know about it. I mean, it's probably something I should have been really, really looking for. But yeah, like I'm gonna have to thank you and I'm pretty sure everybody else in the comment section. If there's anybody in the comment section right now, thanks you too for that.
Hmm.
Not a problem.
But I have a couple more questions I wanted to ask you.
All right, cool deal.
or at least on my end. I wanted to know, for one, what, or if you had to pick a few story writers, who would actually be the ones that influenced you the most in currently in current day? Like, who influences the Larry Williams that exists right now as a writer the most? If you had to pick from a few,
Oof, I have a bunch. Wait, are we talking comic book
it
writers
can
or just
be
writers in
it
general?
can be all across the board.
Okay.
You can get
Hi,
specific about either one too. It doesn't matter.
okay, off top, Akira Toriyama, because I wouldn't even be in this profession if it wasn't for Dragon Ball. Um, so that's off top. Ursula K. Le Guin, my favorite literary author. Hayao Miyazaki, on every level of what he does, from being a writer, which I don't think he gets enough credit for. He is a writer,
Mm-hmm.
he is a mangaka. So yeah, Hayao Miyazaki, from a writing standpoint, from an artistic standpoint, from a direction standpoint, from a producing standpoint, from an editing standpoint. That man, everything he does, mwah,
Man,
it's,
I can
Nice.
agree with you on that.
it,
It's just beautiful.
he he's uh he is such a prolific creator. You know what I mean? Um, he's phenomenal. Now, in terms of more, if I had to say more American creators or American comic book creators, of course, there's the old school cats, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, um, Kane, Siegel, Schuster, all them cats. Currently, though, people working right now. Well, is Alan Moore still working? Because I know he had that. What was that last series he had going on? The fairy tale one. So I don't know if he's still putting those out yet. I mean, if those are still ongoing. But Alan Moore, one of the biggest, probably the biggest. Neil Gaiman, Grant Morrison, Mark Waid, Brian K. Vaughan is probably the one that I'm actively and I feel so bad because I still
Man,
haven't jumped. I
it's
still haven't
funny
jumped
that
on
you even
Saga.
mentioned that. Man, I'm telling you. You can't even see it. Shoot, I pulled it up like you can see it. Well, the audience can see what I'm doing right now. I'm holding up Saga. Well, it's the 5th volume right here, but I got all the Saga
Oh
volumes
yes.
that are out right now. So,
Dude, I feel so bad because I still haven't jumped on Saga yet. I still
Oh
haven't
my
jumped in it yet.
gosh, man.
But here's the thing. Like I was a fan of Vaughn since the Runaways, and then last year for Free Comic Book Day, I go I go into the comic shop, check out some comics, and dude, and it was real funny because I didn't know that I do this, but that was the day I found out. When I buy comics, I look at I buy from the creators. I don't buy from the titles. And it was funny because, it's Free Comic Book Day. So the place is packed, right? The place is packed. But I noticed the group of people who go for the titles, and then I noticed the group of people who go for the creators. And there was a guy standing behind me, and I'm like, I go at the table, I pick my selection. There was a guy standing behind me, and I noticed he was dropping names. And that's when I was like, oh shit. And that's when I started looking around, paying attention to, wait a minute. Cause he was dropping Millar. Who else? I'm trying to remember who else he mentioned. And Schneider, he dropped Schneider. And I'm like, oh snap, he speaks my language. Like he's seeking books for these specific people. And then I went back into the ones I had in my hand, and I'm like, Vaughn, Morrison. I was shit, I did the same thing. So, but anyway, one of the books I picked up was Doctor Strange, The Oath, #1. Mm-hmm. And when I was on my way to work, I'm on the bus or whatever, and I'm just reading through it. Like, dude, I had these books sitting on my shelf for like, no, for about 2 months. Before I cracked them open, I started reading through them. And then, dude, I was reading that book, and I got to that last page, and I was like, oh, snap. And then, dude, as soon as you get to that last page on the inside cover, the inside back cover, the volume was out. See, I didn't know that they were that this was I didn't know that. I thought that story was one of the Free Comic Book Day comics that Marvel was putting out, and it wasn't. What it was, for Free Comic Book Day, comic book shops, the stores themselves, they'll offer up their back issues, their old issues that they didn't sell for free. So it was one of the issues that the store had already had, and so that's why when I see the back cover and they're advertising the volume, the complete volume, I went, "Oh snap! This is an older book." But then, dude, man, like when I got to that end of that book, man, and I flipped back to that front cover, I'm like, I forgot I was fucking with Vaughn, dude. I forgot I was messing with Vaughn, dude.
Like he ain't messing around, or like
Dude, the dude is that good. I'm like, so I'm
I'm gonna have
actually
to
in the
read some more stuff by him. I'm like, I really am, man. You
dude,
know,
I'm at
just
so I'm in the process. It's on my reading list to go ahead and buy the full volume for Doctor Strange: The Oath, because I mean the artwork wasn't entirely great, and it's that slow mystery, like you don't quite know what the fuck's going on. But that cliffhanger on that last page, I was like, oh snap!
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It's good. So yeah, Vaughn right now, Vaughn's one of the ones actively working right now that one of my favorites. Cause like Morrison, I mean Morrison's still writing, but I don't think Morrison is on an ongoing series right now. I think he's mostly doing like monthlies or annuals, so he only gets so many books a year that he's putting out. Let me see. Greg Rucka. Yeah, but I like Rucka, but I haven't read enough of his stuff to put him on a favorites list. But but Vaughn's definitely there because I love the Runaways. Runaways was actually one of the major influences behind Totems when I wrote it. So yeah, Vaughn's the truth.
that's gonna be the next one that I put on my list then. Sure, because I'm like I'm all caught up. Well, I'm not caught up with the because I'm like I guess you could say the what's his name Saga is the only thing I've read from Vaughn before. So I'm definitely going to have to hop on the train if you're saying all that because I mean I just read through all of them. Like I remember I was just getting each volume of Saga as they came. You know what I mean? The next one getting ready to come out real soon, so
Yeah,
I might as well get on Runaways.
yeah. He introduced Saga to me, so when I got into it, it was over. I read through. Uh, well, I was slowly picking up the pace with first volume, but after that one, and second volume and beyond, I went through them. I was so hooked in it.
Man, it don't take much for that story. It's
That story is beautiful. It's
the way he did it. Like I just like the way that the dynamic with all the characters. I like the whole thing. Them trying to paint the story about like an interracial relationship kind of thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just. And I mean, some people kind of compare it to like a Star Wars type of feel. It doesn't really feel like that to me. It just really feels like its own thing. I don't really know where I could link it with. But
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know. Nico, do you have any questions?
I mean, I I had just a few questions going on here. I mean, I was gonna ask about some of your inspirations with even setting up OAW, but I mean, you didn't touched on pretty much all of that by now. And I guess I'm wondering, what's your overall goal with Otaku Assembly or
Assemble.
Otaku Assemble? Sorry.
With a YouTube channel.
Yes, with just with the YouTube channel all around, like, or
Well,
do you have a goal with it?
I would say, I mean, my all-time. I ain't gonna lie, it's more of a wish and less of a goal because I actually haven't been able to implement this the way I want to. But ideally, my all-time goal for that channel would to be have that sucker running every day with new content. And I actually and you know I feel like with that channel I really did go against the grain because even now, like, I've been doing recently I've been doing a lot of research on YouTube because I mean, dude, it seems like that website is changing every 6 months to a year. Algorithm this,
Hmm.
format that, layout this, implement of that. So it's like you gotta research this stuff to kind of stay on top of it. And I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I do kind of feel like I feel like the old man on YouTube now. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I know where you're coming from with that.
It's because the website is so different and just like, dude, like I've been doing it what, 7 years this June, right? Since I made that channel. And I'm not even going to say 7 years. I'm going to say just within the first 5 years that I started up on YouTube, man. From the 5 years I started up on YouTube, dude. And then if I got to go back even further to the very first YouTube account I ever even made back in 2006, dude, it's so different. It's like a completely different thing, dude. So I'm constantly trying to stay up to. I mean, dude, like they done gone ahead and stole a page from Twitch's book with Super Chat that they just implemented a few months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly trying to keep up with all the new stuff, right? All the new toys, right?
Hmm.
But the thing is, dude, it's like I always wanted OAW to be like, I wanted it to be like an actual channel, right? Because that's what we call the profiles. That's what we call the pages. We call them channels. So I always wanted it to be like a TV channel, like a television channel. With that being said, though, I've gone against the grain with conventional YouTube wisdom because, like I said, with the research I'm doing nowadays, even still, people are still preaching the same tenets of YouTube, like, oh, if you make a channel, stick to one thing. Don't branch out. And that was, dude, that was the one thing that always got me. Like early days, OAW, all we did was anime and manga. And then even within the anime and manga, all we did was big three: One Piece, Naruto, Bleach. And I'm like, man, this material, I'm like, we doing this on a weekly basis. It's like, we really got to stretch our legs. There's so much stuff, especially with me and the friends, like, dude, the friends that I had that I was doing OAW with, dude, we are fans of anime in general, not just those three titles. I'm like, dude, there's so much stuff we could be talking about, but we
Y'all could
restricted
be talking about the
ourselves to just
classics.
that. Yeah, dude, I'm like, man, we could be talking about the classics. We could be talking about this, that, and the other. Like I remember at the time, like my homeboy he was watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood because that's when that was running.
Hmm.
He was doing what's that other one? Soul Eater. He was like big on Soul Eater. And I'm like, man, let's branch out and do some of these other titles. And we did. Like we started up new segments where, anime of the month, manga of the month, that's where that came from, where it gave us a chance to break away from the weekly show. But even still, dude, at the end of the day, it was still anime and manga, and that was it. And it wasn't until when I started doing the channel solo that I'm like, you know what? I want to start talking about movies. You know what? I want to start talking about TV shows. I want to start talking about music. And then once I branched out, that's when the channel took off. So, but even now today, they still talk about like, no, because you should be very, you should have the blinders on, and you should be very specific about what it is you upload and who your audience is. And it's like the whole wide net, try to appeal to everybody thing. Like, nah, they discourage that. Well, here's the thing: no television channel does that. If you watch TNT's, we know drama. So their whole thing is, yeah, they're a drama-oriented channel. But Supernatural, you're gonna see Arrow, you're gonna see Charmed, you're gonna see Smallville, you're gonna see Cold Case, you're gonna see what's that alien show? Fallen Skies, you're gonna see Law and Order. So it's like, yeah, they still do drama shows, but you got so many different shows: superhero stuff, supernatural stuff, sci-fi, court procedural. You got so many different stuff that you can do on that channel. So that's why it's like, yeah, I try to keep OAW geek oriented, catering to fans of geek culture, things of that. But it's like, if I could get that channel running 24/7, bro, well, we just, I'm talking like I want to get
I
to.
don't know why you're saying if I can. I mean, do it. I know it ain't. I know it ain't just like do it overnight, but I'm like, you can do that if you. If
Well, the way I'm talking about doing it, where I'm putting out 2-3 videos a day. That's a little
but
bit
I
tough to
mean,
do when it's a one man
what
operation.
on? I know where you're coming from. I'm saying, are you actually like trying to blueprint this exactly how you want to do it, like in the future? Like, if you really want that to be the way it is, then I mean, you got to make progressive goals towards that.
And that's what I'm still trying. That's what I'm still trying to figure out if that's where I want to take the channel next. You know what I mean? Because the way the way I've always done the channel traditionally, where it's just me and putting out 3, 4, 5 videos a week, that's manageable right now. And so I'm trying to decide exactly, all right, if I decide and I want to go ahead and amp this up to the next level, when to do it and exactly how I'm going to do it. Because it's one thing to go ahead and jumpstart it, right? It's easy to jump. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to switch that around. It's easy to jumpstart it. I want to maintain it. I want to keep it running. You know what I mean?
No, I know it's a whole nother beast when you gotta keep.
I want to keep the machine going, and that's the nuts and bolts I'm trying to figure out right now is how to keep it sustaining.
I mean, you wouldn't get some of your old crew back on board with you to try to do it.
There's been discussions.
Oh, okay.
There's been discussions. There's also been, I've had a few discussions, like what is this, March of 17. So pretty much within the last year, right? Since last March, because last spring was when that was when I started doing the channel regularly again. And then, I went ahead and I took a break when the summer hit. So within the last year, there's been discussions of potentially having multiple people on the channel. There's been discussions of starting up a Twitch. There's been discussions of starting up a Patreon. There's been discussions of starting up an app. There's been discussions, but I'm still seeing what's all going to happen. I will say there is some window for opportunity. Recently, actually, this just happened a few days ago. I got dropped by Maker because as part of Maker Studios' big downsizing that they did, which I'm not one of the ones that's like, oh my gosh, I lost my my third party network. Like, I'm actually kind of happy because I was planning on what, Maker, been fun, but I think I'm gonna go back and just kind of manage my partnership myself again. I was anticipating that, and then they just pulled the rug. So I'm like, okay, well, now that kind of frees me up to start making some moves like I used to do before I went ahead and I signed on with them. So yeah, it's a real unique time for the channel. There's some setting up for a comeback coming up, and I'm just looking forward to see how everything pans out.
Well, alrighty then. Man, you seem to be a man of a lot of passion, I'm gonna say. And, you have it thought out basically what you want to do. I'm actually curious because I wasn't for sure if your goal for Otaku Assembly was your life goal,
man, you
or
keep screwing up the name. It's Otaku Assemble.
I thought I just said Assemble.
You said Assembly.
Man, that seems like a second nature thing. Then I gotta work on that.
See, that's why I just started. That's why I just started using the acronym like OAW, short, sweet, to the point.
Otaku Assemble. Yeah. So it seemed like
you gotta do the Assemble.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was curious whether or not your life goal was in sync with Otaku Assemble. So I guess on a little more of a personal note, if you don't mind, what is your life goal, and how does OAW fall in sync with that goal?
Well,
or ultimatum.
My main goal in terms of career and stuff like that is I want to be a writer. Specifically a comic book writer, but I'm also interested in film, television, things of that nature. So I am looking to pursue that professionally. Where OAW, where the channel comes in many aspects. It was kind of my start. Before I was studying film, I was reviewing it. Before I started studying television, I was reviewing it. I think being a critic and being a reviewer it gives you a lot. It gives you a lot of opportunities to evaluate other people's work. And when you evaluate other people's work, you can't help but evaluate your own. So, that, and in many ways, that's the reason why, sometimes, I'll review a TV show or I'll review a movie or something like that. And I'm so harsh on the writing, so harsh on the writing because it's like, a lot of this material I've already, especially with the TV shows, where when I've been reviewing it for a long time and I know the type of writing that, is possible for that series, I'm a lot harsher on it because I know the goods. And when you put yourself in a position where you are constantly studying that, you can't help but learn from some of that yourself. So another weird way to think about it is it's almost like a self-education in many ways. And I mean, just in everything I've done on YouTube and everything I've done writing wise since I've had the channel, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, from, writing about film, writing about television, things of that nature. And that equate to what I've actually watched and what I've read, and that also equates to what I've actually studied in school, and then that also equates to what I've actually written myself. There are many times where it's like, I'll be sitting up here working on the script and I'm like, no, don't do that because that sounds like this that you saw last week and you didn't like it in that, and you don't want to go ahead and and contradict yourself. It's like, no, we're gonna change that. All right, cool, all right, and then we keep it moving. So, yeah. I hope I answered the question. I don't know if I answered it. I think I answered it.
No, you did more than enough. Thank you. Oh man. So, I'm sorry. Did you have one last question that you mainly wanted to cover over?
No, I think I've gotten everything that I needed to get today. Unless Larry, you have anything else to add?
Well, I mean, other than a shameful plug.
Oh no, go ahead. I mean, I was actually going to give you that chance. I mean, go ahead, man. Do what you got to do.
Oh yeah. So to anybody watching, anyone listening, if you're a fan of geek culture, if you're a fan of anime, manga, cartoon, comic books, film, television, things of that nature, please by all means check out my channel. It's Otaku Assemble at youtube.com/Otaku Assemble. OTAKUASSEMBLE. Or OAW for short. You can just go ahead and YouTube or Google OAW. But by all means, check out my channel. Check out the Facebook, the Twitter, things of that nature. Also, I have another page, another Facebook page, OAW Comics, which that's the Facebook page for my comic book company. I'll haven't updated that one in a while. But I do, from time to time, I'll update it on just letting people know, some of the projects I'm working on, things of that nature. I'm definitely going to get into the habit of updating that one more. If nothing else, sort of like, some of the things, ideas and thoughts and whatnot and material I've shared in this live stream, I'll probably get into the habit of sharing that on the OAW Comics page more, like articles, tips and tricks, anything like that. I'll start posting on there as well.
Okay. Well,
since we're running with a few more minutes here until an exact hour, I did have one more question.
All right, go ahead.
I noticed in some of your older videos you were rocking dreadlocks. What made you cut your hair?
Oh, numerous reasons, and actually that's the reason why I did it. Because when I had dreadlocks, I always said if I had more than one good reason to cut them, I would, and I had several good reasons. My stylist moved away. It was getting too expensive.
That feels.
it was too hot with all the hair on my head. So there were numerous reasons where I was like, yeah, let me just. And then also I did it right before I moved, so fresh cut, fresh start, fresh cut. So
Because we know you're the main character in Totems. He had dreadlocks appeared.
and he will when it comes back.
Okay.
I got another story. Same thing. Main character got dreadlocks. I'm never gonna not like the style. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
And
you
I'll.
spiritually have dreadlocks. Like they'll always be there.
Yeah, that don't go away.
But okay. One thing I want to say is, I have to thank Larry for coming on today. It was an honor to have him
Indeed.
on. I really do appreciate that. Make sure you definitely check out his channel. I'm gonna make sure I link it below. I'm gonna link it on the Facebook page. I'm gonna put it on the Twitter page. Check out this man's channel. I'm telling you, if you want to listen to something, even if you just want to get like a podcast type of feel, you can. I'm telling you, you can get that from Larry. You'll learn a lot, and it's definitely entertaining. He has other people on a lot of times too. If you ever heard of Uber Hikari, he's somebody who's very knowledgeable about a lot of different things as well. He has him on sometimes too. So I appreciate it again for you coming on board and coming to the shining spotlight today, Larry.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, so this is going to be Cloud9 signing out, and
And Chief Fan out of here. Catch you all later.